Hey guys, Kelsey here, back with a new video, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about what I think is the best armor for Shadowheart in the early game. As someone who is newer to D&D and as someone who is new to the CRPG genre, I know how overwhelming it can be to see all the stats and all the buttons and to not really know how to pair the equipment or, find the right weapons to get the outcome that you want. And this is the kind of guide that I think would have been helpful for me when I first started out, so I wanted to make something that I think would be helpful for beginners who are looking for decent equipment to get Shadowheart to be more a character who can stand on her own. I believe that Shadowheart starts with 13 armor class, and it's very easy for her to get knocked down. I use Shadowheart as a healer in our group, and her role is very important. She does not need to be getting knocked down. So I took it upon myself to make sure that I found some really good equipment for her, and as I was playing, I realized that Shadowheart actually has the highest AC out of all of our group right now, which is nuts. She even has higher AC than my main character, Aaron, over here, who has 18. Shadowheart has 20. And I'm going to show you guys how to get her AC to be that high by the use of equipment, and I really hope that you guys find this guide helpful. Most of these items can be found in Act 1, and this will be a non-spoiler guide on how to ensure that Shadowheart has a higher armor class so that she can both defend and offend on the battlefield and assist your group the way that she needs to. We will start from the top with her headgear, and then we'll go over each of the armor and equipment slots. For Shadowheart's headpiece, I recommend the Circlet of Blasting, which will grant her a level 2 evocation spell of Scorching Ray. This spell will get you out of a jam if it has to. It does 6 to 36 damage, and Shadowheart is a cleric. She doesn't really have any blasty spells, not too many at least, and this one can be very useful if you don't have a scroll, or perhaps you don't want to use one of your scrolls. This can be really useful. You can find this circlet in the Underdark area. It is purchasable from a vendor, so keep a lookout for the Circlet of Blasting if that is more so up your alley. For those looking to deal additional damage, I would then recommend the Diadem of Arcane Synergy, and what this does is whenever Shadowheart inflicts a condition on someone, so let's say she poisons an enemy, or perhaps she burns that enemy or frightens that enemy, she will receive a condition that allows her to do additional damage with her weapon due to her spellcasting ability modifier. So what that means is Shadowheart is a cleric and she uses wisdom as her spellcasting ability modifier, and keep in mind that every even number past 10 grants you a point. So we have 18, that's 12 would be 1, 14 would be 2, 16 would be 3, and 18 would be 4. So we have 4 extra points of damage to our weapon attacks because of this circlet here, which I find to be very useful as well. You can find this circlet in the Mountain Pass region, so keep a lookout for that once you get there. So for Shadowheart's armor, I highly recommend the Chain Shirt armor. You have to level up a little bit before you can get the +2 version here, but once you can get it, go ahead and grab it. This will boost her AC score from a 13 to a 15, and it also grants her 1 less slashing damage, and she gets a +1 bonus to saving throws and checks, which is very great. I found this armor set very early on, and I have seen it across many different vendors. I have had it on her since Act 1, she's been wearing it throughout Act 2, and you should not have any problems at all running into this set. Go ahead and grab it if you can. To complement that chainmail +2, I would highly recommend the Cloak of Protection. This cape can be found in the Mountain Pass region of Act 1. This Cloak of Protection not only boosts her AC score by 1, but it also boosts her saving throws by 1. And it also looks fantastic. I dyed it to match her armor. Love it. Also, quite a few of these items are in the mountain region area, so I will say as long as you follow Lae'zel's quest once you get it, you shouldn't have any problem searching around for these items, guys. Next up are the Gloves of Archery and also the Boots of Striding, both of which can be found in the Goblin Camp. What's so great about the Gloves of Archery is that not only can she now use longbows, but she also does 2 additional damage with her finesse weapon, and anything that adds base damage to your weapon is S tier. Also, these boots are so great because whenever she is concentrating on a spell, she cannot be knocked prone and she cannot be moved against her will. It also gives her +1 to athletics, which ensures that she doesn't get knocked down so easily. So both of these items are a must-have in my opinion. These boots are great for any spellcaster, whether you use them on Shadowheart or Gale or Will. These boots are a must. Make sure you look out for them. When using Shadowheart as a healer, I highly recommend you guys also find the Amulet of Restoration. This grants her 2 extra heals without the use of spell slots, so you can use those for extra spells, or perhaps you want to have more heals than what you normally would have otherwise, but it gives her a healing ward and a mass healing ward, which is great. This Amulet of Restoration can be found in Act 1 in the Underdark and also in Act 3 as loot. The Shifting Corpus Ring can be found in a very early encounter in Act 2, although it is really good as it grants you invisibility and also blur, which gives attackers disadvantage against you in attack rolls. The Strange Conduit Ring can be found in the Mountain Pass region, grants you 1 to 4 extra base damage, psychic damage, when you are concentrating while using your weapon. I know that this one is also in Act 2, so if you would rather focus on Act 1 items, of course, as early as possible, right? I recommend the... let's see... the Ring of Elemental Infusion. This one can be found in Act 1 in the Mountain Pass region, of course. Everything's in the Mountain Pass. But this grants your weapon elemental damage. When you cast elemental damage against a foe, you get 1d4 extra elemental damage. It infuses your weapon, so this one's pretty great too. Okay, now to the good stuff, right? The weapons. So, the Blood of Lathander. This, of course, as always, can be found in the mountain region, the Mountain Pass region. Keep a lookout for it. This one is a little bit more troublesome to get, but the Sunbeam spell that does 6 to 48 damage is more than worth the trouble. Have fun. Truly, it's worth the find. And of course we have the Adamantine shield, which is my favorite shield for Shadowheart, as not only can people not land critical hits on her, it's impossible, but when they do hit her, it sends them reeling for 2 turns, which means that when they hit Shadowheart, they have a -1 penalty to attack rolls on every turn remaining in the combat sequence, which is pretty great. Last but not least, we have our crossbow, the SHARRAN crossbow, which does 4 to 11 damage. I also really like the detail that this crossbow does not have the typical illuminating light that most weapons have in this game. And if you want to check out this crossbow, you can find it in the Underdark. And that's all from me, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video on how to turn Shadowheart into an acrobat. She will pretty much be jumping and flipping and dodging past every attack thrown at her. They would pretty much have to roll straight 20s to hit her, which is pretty insane. Feel free to follow this guide, and I hope that you found it helpful. If you want to help an adventurer out, feel free to hit that like button and to also leave a comment down below. And if you want to talk more specific about each item, feel free to leave me a message and I will get back to you on, you know, the exact locations. I wanted this guide to be as spoiler-free as possible. And yeah, Shadowheart is pretty set now that she has this cloak of protection and this badass mace and all the good stuff. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.